Have you ever pondered how your childhood experiences shape your adult relationships? Today, we delve into a topic that's often overlooked yet incredibly influential in our lives: childhood emotional neglect. This is a subtle form of trauma, frequently invisible to the naked eye. It's not about what happened, but rather, what didn't happen. Childhood emotional neglect, or CEN for short, occurs when parents, often unintentionally, overlook their child's emotional needs. This could be due to a myriad of reasons. Perhaps they're battling their own personal demons, or they simply lack the understanding of emotional nurturing. It's important to note that this neglect isn't always synonymous with a lack of care or provision. In fact, it can occur in families where everything seems perfectly normal on the surface. Imagine a scenario where a child comes home upset after a rough day at school. Instead of validating the child's feelings and offering comfort, a neglectful parent might dismiss or ignore the child's emotional state, focusing instead on practicalities or tangible problems. This repeated lack of emotional acknowledgement can lead to an internalized belief in the child that their feelings are unimportant or even invisible. The invisible nature of CEN makes it a tricky beast to identify. Unlike physical neglect or abuse, there are no visible scars. The damage is done to the child's emotional understanding and self-perception, which carries over into adulthood. As adults, these children may struggle to identify and express their feelings, leading to difficulties in forming healthy emotional connections. As we've seen, childhood emotional neglect can be an insidious force, often hidden, yet having profound effects on our adult lives. Now that we understand what childhood emotional neglect is, what impact does it have on our relationships as adults? Childhood emotional neglect, while invisible and often overlooked, can cast a long shadow over our adult relationships. It's like a silent echo from the past that resonates in the present, subtly shaping our interactions, responses, and expectations. One of the most noticeable impacts is the struggle with trust. Those who've been emotionally neglected as children may find it difficult to trust others, fearing that they'll be let down or dismissed just as they were in their formative years. This lack of trust can create a barrier to intimacy, hindering the formation of deep, meaningful connections with others. Communication, the lifeblood of any relationship, can also become a battlefield. The fear of expressing one's needs or feelings, a remnant from a childhood where such expressions were ignored or dismissed, can lead to suppressed emotions, unspoken expectations, and unresolved conflicts. Furthermore, childhood emotional neglect can lead to two extreme tendencies in relationships. On one hand, some may avoid relationships altogether, fearing the vulnerability and potential for emotional pain that comes with them. On the other hand, some may become overly dependent, clinging to relationships as a lifeline, a source of validation that was absent in their childhood. These struggles with trust, intimacy, and communication, coupled with the tendency to avoid or cling to relationships, paint a picture of the profound impact childhood emotional neglect can have on our relationships as adults. Clearly, the effects of childhood emotional neglect can create significant challenges in our adult relationships. So, we've explored the problem, but what's the solution? How can we overcome the effects of childhood emotional neglect? The first step is acknowledging the past. Recognizing the impact of emotional neglect can be tough, but it's the first step towards healing. Next, consider seeking professional help. Therapists are trained to guide you through this process, helping you understand and heal from past neglect. This might involve exploring painful childhood memories, but remember, this is a journey towards healing. Setting boundaries is another key strategy. This could mean limiting contact with emotionally neglectful parents or establishing clear expectations in relationships. Don't forget about self-care. This isn't about being selfish, it's about prioritizing your emotional well-being. Whether it's taking a walk, meditating, or spending time with loved ones, find what helps you relax and make it a part of your routine. While childhood emotional neglect can leave deep scars, it's crucial to remember that they are not definitive of your capacity to build healthy, fulfilling relationships as an adult.